feel weird saying go on the second half instead of the first half?
I mean, they're actually synced up for once for me.
I know. It feels very weird when it's right. Like it feels very weird.
If yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
To not be the
welcome
one
back.
leading it.
Yeah, to not be the one leading it. Anyway, welcome back to my channel. Last time you were here, you guessed Elestral cards, and you did pretty well, actually.
Did I? I don't.
Yeah.
I'm pretty.
I think you got.
I remember
2/3 of them correct.
So I got really? I thought it was
Yeah.
like 1/3.
No, I think you got 2/3 of them correct.
All right.
Since then, we've had 2 new sets. We've had Moonrise, and then the newest set, Firestorm. And this time, we actually have tournament data from Firestorm. We've had 2 tournaments since then. We had
That's
the official
crazy.
tournament that was actually held this past Saturday, and then we had this tournament right before that was held by MBT.
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 Alrighty. Are you ready?
I am.
Alrighty. So I'm actually going to give you 2 cards this time. You have to guess which one of these 2 is better.
Oh, is it better? Okay.
You have to guess which one of these are better.
This isn't where I thought this was going at all.
So the first 2 are Eddie
All right.
and
Eddie.
Galaxy, champion of Poseidon.
I take it Eddie. No, never mind. All right, let's see. I love that his name is just Eddie.
Yeah, no, his name is just Eddie.
When you cast this Eddie, you can change the position of an Elestral. Okay, when a player casts Rock and a Hard Place, you can special ascend this
You
Eddie
can ignore that second half.
because Kuribus is one of the banned cards.
No, Kerbis is good, but Rock and a Hard Place is bad.
Oh, okay. From your hand or deck. Okay.
Yeah, no, you
So
can ignore
basically, I just need to know if switching the position of an Elestral is better than
the other guy
Sword and Shield.
than Sword and Shield.
I.e., the Yu-Gi-Oh card, not the Pokemon games.
Yes.
It's until the next turn.
It is until the next turn.
You know what? You'll have to remind me what the Sword and the Shield means. Sword is obviously attack power, and Shield is some kind of defense, but also I assume the life of the
Nope.
card.
It is just defense. It is straight up. It is
Okay,
Yu-Gi-Oh
it's
stats. Think of it like a
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh stats. Yep.
Okay.
So attack and defense.
So this thing goes from 2/5 to 5/2.
Correct.
Meanwhile, something like Eddie goes from 4/1 to 1/4.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So here's how I see it. Right? Is effectively. Now I don't know entirely how the whole positioning works. I assume it's like an attack and defense position.
Yes. It is
Okay.
the exact same.
Exact same. So effectively, they do the same thing. In that your opponent's attack is too high for you to get over, so you need to go into their defense. Swapping the attack and defense lasts, I can only assume, longer because it's until the end of the next turn, and then if this is, again, Yu-Gi-Oh logic, as soon as you pass to your opponent, they can just switch it back. So if you don't kill it, it's just going to be a problem again. So there's that bit of logic. But on top of that, and these things like playing costs are the same, right? I'm not crazy. They're like one rune each.
Yep, both one water spirit.
One water spirit, right? Because they're spirits, not runes.
Runes are the spells and traps.
Got it. Okay. Their cost is the same. And I assume does it work like piercing, right? Or does it matter if they're in attack or defense?
So the way you deal damage is based off the amount of spirits that are attached to the Elestral.
Not whether they're in attack or defense.
Correct. So say for example you swap the Galaxy to 5/2, the Galaxy swings for an attack. You're not sending 5 spirit. You're not spending a quarter of your opponent's spirit deck to the underworld.
Got it. That would be okay. That's fair. That would be busted.
That's exactly why it's like no. It's the amount of spirits.
Casually dealing. Well, I mean, I guess technically it wouldn't be too busted. We do have 2K normal summons.
We do have 2K normal summons.
In Yu-Gi-Oh,
to be fair,
which is
a 2K normal
which is a quarter.
All have the same effect of nothing.
Yeah, they are all no effects. Okay. So based on that knowledge, right? The swapping of the attack and defense stat lasts for 2 turns.
Correct.
Guaranteed. The switching of it from attack to defense position generally means nowhere on the card does it say they can't switch it back. So unless there's some sort of cost associated with switching it back, then it would only last for as long as it's your turn. So I'm gonna say Galaxia is better. Galaxia.
You are correct. Galaxia is the better one. There was one extra part that you did not realize. We call them receive Elestrals. It is whenever a card says when this card receives one or more blank spirit, you can swap it.
Oh, yeah.
That means you can keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
Too. So he's not actually like once per. He's not even once per turn. Like every
it's
time
not on. It's not on summon.
It's not on summon.
It's a trigger effect that you can trigger more than once.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. No. This card is crazy. It is. Eddie for the longest time was very very good. Then this thing came out. Eddie was good for quite literally 2 sets. He was the goat of goats for 2 sets.
Eddie got power crept.
Eddie got power crept.
Feels bad, Eddie.
Sets. It feels very bad. I love Eddie. Eddie is so great. Eddie is sperm.
My first assumption was that he was fucking shrimp of some kind, but now that you said that, I can't unsee it, and I don't like him anymore. Get him off of my screen.
Alrighty. You ready for the next cards? My eggs!
Yeah, your eggs and your sperm.
My eggs and my sperm. Alrighty.
Alright, next cards.
I'll just do one card this time.
Hit me with your best shot. Ooh,
we only have one card this time.
Best shot.
It's called Helios's Slumber.
One card, Helios's Slumber. Target an Elestral in your underworld. I assume that's the graveyard, and put it on the top of your deck. How difficult is it to recur things from the underworld in Elestral?
I will say their Monster Reborn costs 3 spirits to use.
See, I'm tempted to say this is bad, and I'll tell you why. Because I struggle to think of a situation in any card game where blanking your next draw is good. And I know that it's technically not blanking it because you're getting a card back from your underworld, but it's on a delay, right? Because it's not quick effect. So you put it back on the top of your deck, your opponent plays, and then you draw it for a turn. Unless you have other draw spells that you play after you play this. So, and you're not saying anything, but the face that you're making is telling me that I'm wrong. That being said, I'm gonna stick with my gut and say this is not I'm not gonna say it's a bad card, but I'm not gonna say this is a bad card, but it's not a good card.
No, this card sucks.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Terrible.
counter rune, so it's a trap card basically. So it's even more delayed than you actually think it is. It's super delayed.
See, that's a very specific thing I need to start looking out for because I just thought this was a normal spell, and I just assumed that I had no information to go off of when I made that assumption. I just made it.
No, this card sucks.
Terrible card.
Like every time I'm like reading it, I'm like, it's got to be somewhat good. Because all right, so the thing about Solar is they have a card. Their main gimmick is called Foretell.
They excavate.
So they excavate. Exactly.
They scry. They scry.
They scry. But most of the time, if they like scry, like it typically like they've got effects to like cast them out to the field because of it. This card sucks though.
Okay.
No, this card is awful. It's too slow. If you don't want to like, obviously you're right. They have a card that quite literally says stack your deck.
Yeah.
Like that is how like important foretelling is. They have a card called First Light that quite literally just says place one drop Solar Spirit or Elestral on the top of your deck. So, yes, this card is awful.
Terrible.
This card sucks. It is just the worst thing ever.
Not good.
Not good, no.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's a counter rune, which makes it even slower.
Yeah.
If you're playing counter runes, you're playing powerful counter runes. Like counter runes are
just like if you're playing trap cards, you're playing powerful trap cards.
Exactly, and like
it's like imperm or bust.
Exactly, like the powerful counter runes are so incredibly powerful that I will point out right now, one of the cards had a 99% usage rate in the most recent tournament. 99%.
Was it one of the ones that was banned?
It is not banned. It's at 3.
Which is the max?
That is the max. That is how good of a card it is. It outdid Maxi in usage in Master Duel.
It did. It did. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It outdid Maxi.
Yeah, it did. Alrighty. You ready for the next ones?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
This one will be 2 cards.
Dos cardos.
Dos cardos.
Draw. Monster cardo.
We'll stick with the rune theme for just a little bit.
The rune? Okay, so these are divine rune, invoke rune. Invoke is the
basic generic spell trap. Or is the
and
basic generic
divine
spell.
is the continuous.
Is the continuous, correct.
Alright. We got Poseidon. Get in the water.
We have specifically asked for me to put these cards in for you.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, when you cast this Poseidon, you can enchant up to 3 spirits onto it, 3 water spirits onto it. You can Nexus water spirit from this Poseidon. Nexus means return it to the spirit deck or send it to the underworld.
Nexus means you move 1 spirit from this Poseidon to a different card on the field, on your field.
Okay. So you cast it for 1 rune, and the rune you use to cast it stays like attached to it.
Yes, the one spirit,
enchanted
it
to
does, it. Yes, it does say enchanted to it.
So when you cast the Poseidon, you can enchant up to 3.
Correct.
So it hits the field and it goes up to 4.
Correct.
And Nexus, if I remember correctly, is once per turn.
If the card,
if the card says it's once per turn, it's once per turn.
If the card says it's once per turn, it's once per turn. Or if it's like specifically like, really the only time non-once per turns are applied are if the card specifically states when this card receives a spirit.
Okay, so what?
So take Galaxy, Champion of Poseidon. Whenever it receives one, that's not a once per turn.
Okay.
But everything is basically a soft once per turn.
Okay, so this Nexus, you can Nexus blank is once per turn.
Correct.
Okay. Poseidon's Fury. Oh my. Okay, disenchant any number of water spirits from 1 or more of your Poseidon. An opponent disenchants the same number of... I assume that's the generic spirit symbol.
That is the generic spirit symbol.
From their field. And I'm supposed to decide which one of these is better?
Nope. You're supposed to decide if this combo is good.
It seems pretty fucking good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Just put this first Poseidon on the field. Put Poseidon on the field. Give it the max. What's that for? Use Poseidon's Wrath. Disenchant 4 from your Poseidon, and then your opponent's forced to disenchant 4 from their field. That seems pretty good to me.
Yeah. This is about the closest thing we have to Dark Hole right now.
I assume if they disenchant, they go to grave.
Yep. So if they, for any reason whatsoever, do not match the amount of spirits that are required for it to be casted onto the field, they go to the.
Okay, so if one drops to 0, if a 1 cost goes from 1 down to it goes to less than 1, it goes away. But if a 2 cost goes to 1 or less, it goes away.
Correct.
Okay.
And
so yeah,
it gets around some gameplay mechanics because you're disenchanting it, so it's sent to the graveyard
instead of being destroyed.
Instead of being destroyed, which is very, very unique.
So it's a dark hole, except instead of destroying everything, it sends everything. That's
exactly
busted.
Yeah, this thing is predicted to be pretty good. In return, with thanks to a couple of other cards. Unfortunately, like Water doesn't have like a perfect way to like Nexus a bunch of spirits around. Still, Poseidon is their best way to Nexus, and it's kind of slow because of it. But it basically is like the win con of every water deck right now. Every water deck just reads this card and they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna keep Dark Hole in your field.
Get in the water.
Get in the water. That was exactly what it was. Yep.
Get in the water.
All right. You ready?
Next card.
Next card. It will just be one card this time.
One card.
One card. Cryoblast.
Next card. Cryoblast. That's not water.
No.
Is it ice?
Frost. It is ice. It's frost.
Why are they separate elements?
Why not?
They're the same element. They're just...
Is Poseidon the god of ice?
Yes! Because he's the god of water, and ice is water!
Is he the god of air?
Kind of?
No. There's actually there's a goddess of frost, and there's a goddess of air. And a god of air.
Yeah, that's Aeolus, you dipshit.
Yeah, Aeolus exists.
Technically, in the original Odyssey, Aeolus wasn't actually a god. He was just a guy.
He was just a guy, but they made him a god.
Not a god.
They made him a god. But Kiona is a goddess. And she is the frost goddess. And she's very pretty.
Yeah, well, gods' domains overlap all the time.
Yes, they do. Anyway, go ahead and read Cryoblast.
All right, Cryoblast. Okay. Target an Elestral that is not ice enchanted, frost enchanted. Until the end phase, give it -2 defense. And when that Elestral has 0 defense, you must destroy it. I mean, it's kind of a removal spell. I mean, it is a removal spell, but it's only like, right? Because like, like this would take out Eddie, but this wouldn't take out Galaxia unless Galaxia had used its effect to swap their stuff.
Correct.
How often are guys made, like, in the meta?
In the meta.
How what would you say the average defense is?
I would say the average defense right now is about, for 1-drops, it is 1 to 2. For anything above it, it's about 3 to, it's probably about 2 to 3.
Okay, so this would take out any 1-drop. More than likely.
More
A
than
good
likely.
chunk of 1-drops.
Good chunk of 1-drops. Aside from the rabbit.
Good. It
Not
doesn't.
good?
It does not feel good. This feels like it feels kind of like Slifer's reduce a summon monster's attack by 2k, and if it hits 0, it dies, but if it doesn't hit 0, it just kind of sits there, right? It
Right.
does not feel good.
This was very early on considered like that. They read it like, oh, it's Slifer's effect, but bad. Because you had to waste one Frost Spirit. Then they realized, oh, wait, it's a 1-drop removal spell that doesn't have a lot of restrictions aside from dropping something down to 0 to attack or defense.
Right.
This card is now very much a side deck pick.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I guess I could see that. I didn't know that Elestrals had a side deck.
It's a 15-card side deck just like Yu-Gi-Oh!
But I take it that means removal spells, or at least removable spells that are that cheap, are hard to come by?
So the other one was the one I showed you last time, which was called Resting on Your Laurels.
I don't remember it.
And that one, it's the one where, like, if you have more runes than your opponent, or if your opponent has more spirits than you do, then you can cast it.
Interesting.
The best generic one is still called Earthquake. It's a 2-drop earth one where you just pop it. Doesn't matter. Which is the best one still. It's limited and it is still a main deck pick.
Yeah.
Resting on Your Laurels has fallen out of favor. Cryoblast is falling more into favor as a side deck pick. I would say this card is still pretty good, and it has very much had its time in the sun. And whenever you're just playing a Frost deck, you're naturally going to play this card.
Right.
Even without, like, trying to make the room for the spirit.
Right. It's good in specific situations.
It's good in specific situations, correct. Alrighty. Next one. I'm gonna fuck with your brain a little bit.
Oh no. I love it when he does that.
Are you ready for this one?
Let's go.
Behold.
My brain
Viscerus.
is gonna
And
be mush.
Viscerus.
Visceris. Visceris. Okay, so it's obviously not the same card, but they have the same name. The other one's just the letters are spaced out.
No, it's that one of them was older.
Okay.
One of them is newer.
And they look the same. So what's the Okay, hold on. Let me read it and make sure, because it gets one's defense is lower than the other, but that's the only difference I've seen so far. So okay, this Viscerus gets +1 for each Viscerus on the field. When this Viscerus destroys an Elestral in battle, you can special cast a Viscerus from your hand or deck in defense position.
Does that sound like a familiar card to you?
+1 for each.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I mean, it vaguely sounds like Hydrogeddon.
I mean, a lot of people compare him more to Shura, but yeah, we'll go with Hydrogeddon.
Yeah, Shura. Okay, I see Shura.
Okay.
I mean, I say Hydrogeddon because it's specifically.
It is specifically, yeah. You are correct. It is
Viscerus and not any member of a Viscerus archetype, which is why I equated him to Hydrogeddon.
correct.
Okay, and then this Viscerus +1 for each Viscerus on the field. Whether there's another Viscerus on your field, this Viscerus is unaffected by opponent's counter runes. So what's the rule for cards with the same name? Like, can they both be played at 3? Or can you only have, like, 2 and 1?
2 and 1.
Okay, so they can't both be played at 3.
Or 3 of one name and 0 of the other.
Right.
3 of one.
Point
and
is,
0 of
point
the
is, it's like Pokemon rules, where even though they are distinctly different cards, they have the same name, therefore you can't have both playsets in the deck. You have to pick
Correct.
one or the other.
Correct.
And by pick one or the other, I mean either 3 of one and none of the other, or 2 of one and 1 of the other.
Yes.
And am I picking which one's better, or which one, if they're am I evaluating them as a pair?
You're evaluating them as a pair.
1 drop goes from 4 to 5 very easily. Unaffected by trap cards. I'm gonna say good, and at the correct ratio. How good are counter runes? No, you said they're and 99% ratio. I'm gonna say good, really good. Correct ratio is 2-1 to the old Viserys's favor.
You're correct. But you're not correct because of that ratio. You're right because that is the correct ratio. You are correct on that. Original Viserys, the one that special summons one from the that special cast, the other one, is semi-limited. He's good. The semi-limited list exists specifically for him. He is now the malicious of this game. He is the malicious of this game. So it's not it's the ratio that gets played, but not because it's the correct ratio, but because it's the ratio they're forced to do. They're forced to do it, yeah.
Well, okay, so if he was at 3, would they just not play the one that's immune to counter runes?
I don't think they would play the one that's immune to counter runes. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The third Vish is so crazy. It's like ridiculous how crazy the third Vish was. To put it into perspective, in the Moonrise meta, he got banned probably about halfway through Moonrise, which is the 4th set. No, he got semi-limited at the beginning of Moonrise. I forgot about that. He did not see any play because he had gotten semi-limited.
Yeah, because having 2 versus 3 is pointless.
Yes.
Unlike Malicious, who you actually have like 4 copies of.
It's like 18 now in fucking
Hero. Oh yeah, it's like 18 Malicious but that's because he's at 3.
Yeah,
if he wasn't at 3, he'd be like 12 Malicious. It's not important.
Yeah, it's
fine.
Then then A-Drive revealed this Viserys, and I think everybody collectively was like, everybody was collectively like, okay, wait, how does this work? And he says, you can only run 3 copies of Viserys. And I'm like, okay, that still doesn't make any sense. And then he says, you could run 2 of the original and then 1 of the other one. And everybody was like, that is crazy.
It's Pokemon rules. It's Pokemon rules. That's not that insane.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult of a concept to grasp.
It took a little bit for me to grasp it because I don't play a lot of Pokemon.
That's fair. That's valid.
But yeah, no, this guy is crazy. Yeah, no, Viserys has been crazy. He has been consistently like the 2nd or 3rd best 1-drop Elestral since the beginning.
That makes sense.
He has just consistently been that good. He is insane. Alrighty. Time for the next ones. We will do this one. You will decide which one is better.
All right. Another twofer, but it's a versus.
It is a versus.
It's a versus. Yada.
Do you remember Lavalith? I showed you him in the first one. He was the 2-drop fire that pops a Speller Trap.
Here. They're still in here, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah.
Let me see if oh, that's Eddie.
Yeah, I did show a lot of these.
You showed Eddie to Kevin.
I did show a lot of these together.
Oh, no, that's Eruption. Lavalith. Okay, there's Lavalith. This is Lavalith. This Lavalith can be normal cast with limit if an opponent has at least 2 or more enchanting spirits than you do.
When you cast this Lavalith, you can target and destroy
a rune. Yes. Yeah, I know.
So,
I just stopped reading that out loud. And
there
this
is a whole line of them.
Give me your refresher. This was a good or bad card.
This was a fantastic card.
This card is 1.
This card is at 1. He is very good. He is a fantastic
very
card.
Good. Okay.
Super good. Anyway.
Super good.
There's one other one that's limited. His name is Arcalith. He is only good because Thunder was like crazy because of him. He is no longer good because he got limited.
Okay.
There is one for every single attribute except for Earth, which has 2.
And you're showing me the Earth ones, and I have to
I'm
figure out which Earth one is better.
Not showing you the Earth ones. I am showing you the Lunar and the Frost one.
The Lunar and the Frost one, and I have to figure out which one is better.
Yes.
Okay, so Necrolith, okay. It can be normal cast with 2 if an opponent has at least 2 suppressed cards.
So suppressed is like having their effects negated.
Oh, okay. When you cast this Necrolith, you can destroy a suppressed Elestral. Okay. This Monolith can be normal cast with 2 if an opponent has fewer Elestrals in their underworld than you do. When you cast this Morolith, you must send the top 5 cards from your deck to your underworld. Okay, so this feels like I'm missing a lot of context as to the playstyles of these 2 elements.
So,
But,
kind of like right off
Well,
the bat. Go ahead.
but-
Let me speak.
ignoring the context, Morolith feels like a win more card, right? Or it's like it if like right if these are all are good, if they're all good, and I'm just trying to figure out which one's better based on the fact that 2 of them are limited. That the assumption is they're all at least somewhat decent. You kind of want to be playing them in your deck. Sending the top 5 is either a super drawback that makes this thing terrible, or is really good for the play style of Ice. And it can only be cast if you already have more in your underworld than your opponent, then it feels like a quote unquote win more card.
Correct.
This guy, Necrolith, is who I am choosing for the better card. Because being that he can only be cast when there are 2 suppressed Elestrials on the field, I have to imagine that that is a somewhat easy thing for this Necro element to do. That's like the whole gimmick of the element, or I would presume. Context clues and whatnot. And then it's a removal spell. Plus you get a 7? I mean, I don't know how big these things get, but that seems pretty good to me. So I'm saying of these 2, Necrolith is the better one.
It's Morolith.
False.
All right,
Incorrect.
All right.
The community is wrong.
Fun fact. Necrolith is good. Don't get me wrong. Everybody when they first read Necrolith, they all thought the exact same thing you did. They're like, holy shit, he pops cards. One of the main like rune that is not like their divine rune or their like specific artifact for that said divine rune or their like stadium rune, which is their field spell, is a counter rune called Dense Fog. It says suppress all non-lunar enchanted Elestrals.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It is like actually insane. Dense Fog is still pretty good, and I consider it to be a very good card. There was a card that was released in Frostfall that was revealed in Frostfall about 2 weeks later that made Morolith quite literally the greatest card in the entire game. I think this card should be banned. That is how good I think Morolith is.
See, that's the struggle with things like this is in a vacuum.
In a vacuum, you're absolutely correct.
Necrolith is better.
Super crazy. Necrolith he doesn't have a home yet. He's a little slow is the problem. Yeah. There are cards quite literally in Frost that let you immediately fill up your graveyard before your opponent even has a turn to play, so you can drop the Morolith right away.
Yeah.
In fact, at the very, I showed you the card, actually. His name is Morfrost. In the last video, I showed you Morfrost Lichen form, which lets you discard this Morfrost in order to search 2 of them. from your deck that are not itself and add it to your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, he quite literally, he is the whole, like, context of, like, he is so good because of it.
Ah.
But
Okay.
I think I should show you the main reason why this card is pretty good. This one is a set, and I am showing you the full set because context is needed for each one of them. They are all cards, you know.
All right, we got 3 cards.
We got 3 cards.
Okay. Snowlet. Little snowy owl. Neat.
Yeah, he's a little snowy
When
owl.
this Snowlet receives 1 or more. Okay, you can send the top 3 cards from your deck to the underworld. When this Asprowl is sent from your deck to the underworld, you can special ascend your Snowlet to it. That means you put Asprowl on top of Snowlet.
Think of it like a tribute summon.
Snowlet goes to the graveyard.
Yes.
But Asprowl keeps the runes that are on it.
It will keep the one spirit that is... Yes, it will keep the spirits that are attached to it.
Okay. You can expend 1 in order to send the top 4 cards of your deck to the underworld.
So expend is you send 1 from your spirit deck to the underworld.
Okay. Blizzstrix. When this card is sent from your deck to the underworld, you can special send your Asprowl onto it. You can return 3 Elestrals from your underworld to the bottom of your deck in order to destroy a card. Okay, so yes, this seems insane. Based on how they read, my brother in Christ, they're just tier. Elestrals reinvented the wheel. They made Tearlament.
That's what everybody thought at first.
Are they not good?
It's Lightsworn.
It's Lightsworn.
It's
He does
Lightsworn?
kind of look like Judgment Dragon.
You're correct. It is Lightsworn. However, now, it is
And
Lightsworn in Edison, so it is still basically Tearlament.
It's still basic. It's what can I say? Card game players love to gamble. Whether that's
you are
cracking
curious-
packs or milling cards.
If you're curious, what won the most recent tournament?
It was this.
It was this. There was only one player that won it. There was only one player out of 124 players that brought this deck in. But Mr. fucking Bean Soldier brought it in.
Bean Soldier.
Bean Soldier. He swept the competition, and he made it look so easy, too. He only dropped 1 game.
Is he Bean Soldier? Or is he Bean Soldier? Is he?
He's Bean Soldier.
You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
I do not know what you're talking about. No. But no,
Beans-
I think you put it right on the money. These cards are crazy.
So Bean Soldier, right, is
Right.
a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Correct.
There are a bunch of soldiers in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Correct.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel.
Oh, did they create Bean
They-
Soldier jersey?
They retrained a bunch of these soldiers and called them Soul Jersey, and they're just wearing a spiffy jacket, like a tracksuit. So there's Bean Soul Jersey, there's Penguin Soul Jersey, there's Black Luster Soul Jersey. There is Black Luster Soul Jersey, Envoy of the
I remember
Load
seeing
or
that
something.
one. I do remember
Envoy
seeing
of
that one.
Of
Yeah.
the Load or something.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing that one, yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
Soul
no.
Jersey.
These guys are crazy. They're insane. They are quite literally the greatest casino deck ever created in this game. They will probably be the only casino deck ever created in this game. And this deck is still very good. This deck is the whole reason we had our 3-drop Monster Reborn limited.
Yeah, that'd do it. Attack like this, that'd do it.
This card, yeah, no, this deck is crazy. I love this deck. It is one of my absolute favorite decks to play. I am not as lucky as anybody is with it because my mills are the absolute fucking worst.
Never. You could never be.
No. my
Have
mills
you
suck.
have you seen yourself play Lightsworn? Of course you're not that lucky.
My mills in this, I burnt out all my mills when I started playing Tearlament.
You burnt out all your mills when you what?
Started playing Tearlament.
When did you play Tearlament?
I played Tier a lot in Master Duel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But yeah, no. These guys are crazy. I love them. They're adorable. Snowlight is adorable. Blitzstrix is dope as fuck. Elestral is a fucking asshole because you will always draw this one asshole, and you're just like, get the fuck out of my goddamn hand. But I mean, it's crazy. Every card
Is it like what you play like Snowlit at 3 and then Asprowl and Blitzstrix at 1?
No, you play 3-3-2 now.
3-3-2. Oh, okay, and I assume the big one is the one that's at 2.
Yeah. But I mean, again, they're crazy. Also, I don't know if you realized it, Blitzstrix does not target.
Be probably honest with you, didn't realize targeting was a thing in this game. It did not clock.
Targeting,
It
targeting
didn't clock.
does exist, but no,
I don't think
not
any of the
targeting
cards
removal.
you've shown me so far target. Oh no,
Oh,
that
yeah.
first one target. Nope. Cryo blast targets. I just can't read. I am a Yu-Gi-Oh player. What did you expect?
You are indeed a Yu-Gi-Oh player. Yeah, no, card is crazy. Because, I mean, obviously, if you're non-targeting removal, it's crazy. Alrighty. Let's stick with the Frost theme for a little bit longer. This will be
Hold
the
on.
second to last set of cards.
Oh, second to last set. And so
Yes.
this one and then one more and then we're done.
Yes.
Okay, cause we're 40 minutes in.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Let me just grab them all real quick. We have Bunnix. And then the Nixameras.
All right. Bunnix. More frost.
More
This
Frost.
one's frost and light. And that
The other
one
one's
is
Frost
frost
and
and lunar. Oh my.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
you can expend 1 in order to search your deck for up to 2 Nixamera. Then send 1 to your underworld and add the other to your hand. And then these are the Nixameras, Risen Form and Fallen Form. Risen Form says you can expend a light in order to target and destroy a face down rune. During your end phase, you must either send this Nixamera to the underworld or special ascend it to Nixamera Fallen Form from your hand, deck, or underworld. And then the Fallen Form says this Nixamera cannot be targeted. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm not muted. Discord's being weird. You've done it like 5 times this evening.
Oh, that's crazy. I did not realize that.
It's like the other time I said sorry and I asked you to say it again. It's because Discord muted you.
Oh.
And I didn't, in the middle of your sentence, and I didn't know what you were saying. Okay, but I'm still reading, and you should still have my audio from reading. Okay,
Yeah.
so next we have Nixamera Fallen Form, and this Nixamera cannot be targeted by Invoke Runes, that's the spell card, and then during your end phase, you must either send this Nixamera to the Underworld, or special send it to Nixamera Risen Form from your hand, deck, or Underworld. Okay, so the bunny gets you to either of the goats, rams, whatever they are, chimeras of some kind, cloud people, and then they just cycle into each other during each of your end phases.
During each of the end phases. Fallen does during your
Okay.
opponents, and then
So
Risen
you'd
does during your
okay.
end
So I guess the best thing to do would be Bunnix search for. I mean, obviously both of them, and then discard the Fallen Form. Right, because then you enchant the Risen Form, and then during your end phase, you switch to the Fallen Form, and they have opposite attack and defenses, right? So you go from Risen Form in attack position to Fallen Form in defense position, and then back and forth. Being able to target and destroy face down rune is pretty good. And being resistant to removal because it's immune to invoke runes is pretty good. But I'm gonna say not good enough to be good.
Yeah. These guys are the newest cards that I've showed you so far. I mean, aside from like Viscerus, Poseidon's Fury and Galaxy. They need a little bit more.
Yeah. They really, say it with me, they'd benefit from a second wave of support.
They really would. And Elestral is kind of picky about giving a second wave of support to cards.
Ah.
No, they're good. They definitely did. Like, there were a lot of people that brought this to the tournament thinking that this would be the new way to play Frost. It's still Blistrix.
Just wasn't.
It's still Blistrix.
Yeah.
And Blistrix is insane. There are cards that, like, help because Lunar is really good. Solar is also really good. And there are a lot of cards that you can just play in naturally because you're playing those 3 elements all at once. There's not a good, like, Divine Rune for any of them is part of the problem. So you're playing Zeus, which adds an extra element to your pantheon because Zeus is thunder, not light.
Right.
And so there's not, like, a good rune for them. There's not a good Divine Rune for them to, like, kind of keep bringing them back out. There's not, like I said, there's only one, like, really good Monster Reborn spell. It's at 1 now, so
yeah,
it's almost there. It's on the cusp.
The bunny being 4/4 is nutty though on a 1-drop.
Yeah, no, 4/4 is really good.
That stat line's insane.
That thing's insane because of it. 5 is typically considered like the cap for 1/1s or for 1-drops. And the fact that he's 4/4 is crazy, and they will typically either have 5 in one and then, like, really low in the other, or vice versa. And the fact that he is equal is crazy. It means he's, like, not getting run over by, like, anything. Alrighty, you ready for the last set of cards?
Last set of cards before I shit my pants.
Oh, and for context, if they have, like, a title, so, like, Risen Form and Fallen Form, you can run up to 3 copies of both.
Yeah, I figured. That's just like an extension of their name, like
Correct.
Like Ancient Gear Golem versus Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound. Or the 2 Flame Wingmans.
Yes.
Or Neos and Aqua Neos and Flare Neos and whatnot. It'd just be like Neos, Flare Form, yada yada yada. Yeah, show it to me. Jesus Christ!
You got 5 of them this time.
Werepup. That's dope. Another Werepup, Champion of Artemis, like a Void Champion of Artemis, and then Lunar Phase, Full Moon. Okay, let's start with Werepup. When you normal cast this Werepup, and I assume that just means it's the normal play method.
Yep.
Okay. When you normal cast this Werepup, you can search your deck for 1 Lunar Phase, add it to your hand. When you cast Lunar Phase Full Moon, you can special ascend this Werepup to a Lycan Void from your hand or deck. I take it there's more than 1 Lunar Phase then.
There is more than 1 Lunar Phase.
Okay, but the only one you're showing me is Full Moon, which is the one that you would theoretically want to search off of this Werepup.
Correct.
Enchant up to 2 Lunar, 2 in Elestral on your field. When this Lunar Phase is discarded by another Lunar Phase, you can foretell 3. It's a counter.
It is a counter.
Interesting. All right, and like a Void needs 2. And you special ascend like a Void. So you would put those 2 onto Werepup before you special ascend it so that like a Void doesn't automatically go to grave.
So when you special ascend it, you can pay 1. You have to pay 1 from your spirit deck, no matter what, to cast it.
Oh, okay. Hand or deck. All right, Werepup, and then there's Champion of Artemis. Okay, you can special ascend this Werepup to Lycan Void from your hand or deck. If an opponent has at least 2 suppressed cards, when this Werepup is destroyed in battle, you can suppress a card on your opponent's field until the next turn. and then the final Like a Void. When you cast this Like a Void, you can special cast any number of Werepup from your deck with 1 suppressed. You can destroy a suppressed Elestral on the field. If you do, destroy a suppressed Elestral on an opponent's field. Okay, so you summon him, special cast a bunch of Werepups suppressed, and then destroy them to destroy other cards on your opponent's field. So what am I evaluating here? Them overall as a pair of 5, or
Which ones are good? Which ones are bad?
so when Werepup, not Champion of Artemis, says special ascend this Werepup to Like a Void, can that special ascend onto the Champion of Artemis form of Like a Void, or okay? By counter runes, if you can. I'm gonna say regular Werepup, Lycan Void, Champion of Artemis, and Lunar Phase Full Moon are the good ones. The other 2 are so-so.
So, you're absolutely correct. Go figure, Soul Charge from deck is really good.
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
even if it's suppressed.
Yeah.
Who cares if their effects are getting activated? Honestly, like straight up, none of them care.
Yeah. Because, I mean, especially if the one that you're using only gets effect when it's normal cast, or you play that counter rune. Who cares if it's suppressed?
Yeah, no.
Especially since you probably only play 1 Lycan Void, maybe 2. I don't see this thing as a 3 of.
So the ratio is 3 Werepups, 1 Champion of Artemis Like a Void, and then 1 Full Moon.
You said what?
The ratio is 3 Werepups, 1 Champion of Artemis Like a Void, and then 1 Full Moon.
1 Full Moon? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I know. I hadn't decided what the Full Moon one was yet. But I did. Yeah. 3 Werepup, 1 Lycan Void. That makes sense.
Now, before Firestorm came out, the other Like a Void was crazy.
The
He
one
was
that
a
says
free
unaffected
2-drop.
by counter runes?
Yeah. He was crazy because he's a free 2-drop.
Yeah.
He is still technically a free 2-drop during your opponent's turn, and 6 is hard to fucking out.
Yeah.
And because he was a 2, that's why Cryoblast was really good in the main deck for a long period during the entirety of Moonrise. Because
Right.
they put 2 and 2 together. Oh god, we can out this thing pretty easily if we keep the fucking if we keep the Cryoblast in hand. Because otherwise
Yeah.
he's a bitch to out.
Yeah. But now the Lycan, the champion form is Champion of Artemis is here. That bitch is a 5. Cryoblast, not so
I
good.
have never seen a card so heavily pushed for any fucking card game ever. This card is crazy. Soul Charge from deck is insane. Obviously, it reads
Not only
insane.
is he soul charged from deck, he's beefy.
He's beefy. He's beefy. He's hard to out. 6 is very much like the cap for most attackers. Like, unless you're playing specifically like
Necrolith?
Strix.
Necrolith is
even.
a 7.
Yeah, Necrolith is a 7, but you're not even playing Necrolith. Fun fact, you're quite literally, you're splashing Werepump into everything. Like, this thing took up, I think, like, almost like 80% of the decks. It was in like 80% of the decks of the most recent tournaments.
Jesus.
On
Yep.
both sides.
Yep.
Yeah, no. This card's crazy. Everything about this was crazy. Because you're thinking about it, it's Edison format with Soul Charge in it.
Sounds about right. Edison
And
with soul charge.
man, if Soul Charge existed in Edison, I don't think Edison would be as like favored as it is. I really don't. I'm gonna be real with you.
Probably not.